I think this is a good example of something I've been hearing a lot recently since the release of part 10, that being the further increase in animation quality as they spend like 8 frames on his movements here, something usually not done in so much detail. While I've got you here, I want to kindly request one more time that you hit the like button and leave a comment. It's incredibly obvious when many of you choose not to in how the videos perform. Like part 10 just didn't do views like normal, and I think half the reason is the episode's covered and the other half is definitely the lack of likes. It would mean a great deal to me, and now back into it. That was sick, and I'm hyped for this mini tournament episode. For likely one of the final times, Soul continuing to exist within the parameters of this story will never not be equal to or greater than the sum of a win. Giving a logical explanation within the boundaries of the anime as to how they're broadcasting the match to all of the people, especially since it could have created communication plot holes for prior episodes if they just made them be able to do it randomly. Also taking the time to quickly touch on the Wizard King's current situation like this. Goodness me, scenes like this are done so well in terms of artistic styling. I mean seriously, it never doesn't look awesome when Yami slides around. This is so intense I can't even tell what's going down. But, safe to say, the same dude or dudette who has done prior battles definitely is back for this one with that signature block-breaking effect. Just really reminds me of Midoriya vs Todoroki from Season 2 of My Hero Academia as well. What a fantastic start to the battle. Just goes to show how much the captains are on another level, able to thrust themselves completely into a battle at a moment's notice and create magic far and above what normal people can achieve in moments. Even simple things like light reflections and shadows have become a staple of the anime over the past 50 or so episodes, and it's always great to see, since some of the best anime are doing that kind of thing. Continuous movements in one scene! Really glad they continue to highlight his character. It's legit crazy to me to think of how I've been watching him on and off now for 145 episodes, give or take, and I do still like him and his personality. Not only was that a unique spell I don't think I've seen before, and keep in mind I've covered this series over the course of a year, so forgive me if I do forget the occasional thing, but that slow motion effect afterwards looks sick too! Rotating shot. Originally, I didn't think much of his magic, and then the elf arc occurred, and I was left gobsmacked by its beauty and power, and now I see things like this, and it's outstanding to witness how much physical matter he can control with seemingly a small amount of mana expenditure. For that, they can take an extremely rare 2 wins award. Firstly, for that continuous motion shot looking like All Might Midoriya versus the bad guy at the end of the first My Hero movie, or Midoriya and Bakugo versus 9 in the second movie, but then what sealed the deal for me was her appearing with a plot twist and taking Yami away. That just looked awesome. Yami trying to be typical Yami. It makes great sense for the story that either Yami figured this out super quick, way faster than his team did, or that his team filled him in on what happened, or he read a report. Either of the three things makes Yami look good as a captain, showing he does actually care and work hard sometimes. They are just really loving these continuous motion shots during this episode, aren't they? Goodness me! For me, this right here is like a fantastic example of Black Clover's battles becoming less predictable, because originally it was really magic versus magic, but over time other factors have very much come into play, such as environmental ones or just plain old dirty tricks, thinking outside the box and so on. It makes for much more interesting battles as far as I'm concerned. That was sick! Super nice addition showing how he collected up his comrade and then moving both he and the crystal behind himself too. And then you go and give us yet another continuous motion shot at her, and I'm over here seriously impressed by this episode's animation, and thus they can take a well-deserved second Maximum 2 Wins award for being a bunch of hard-working legends. He really can slice everything in half. That was amazing. Colour me amazed.
見せてやるよ。あの時限界を超えた俺の魔法。
Oh, Yami is so cool. Genuinely never thought I'd be giving out 3 Max Double Wins awards during this episode alone. It's crazy, but how can I not for Nozel and crew creating one of the best looking magical attacks I've ever seen, and then the other team doing their thing and even creating a plant shield for the fire spirit. I'm in awe over here. Perhaps one of the best things about this battle is that we have no stake in it for the most part. Like, we may have our favourites, but there's no good guy versus bad guy. It's just an incredibly tense battle in which I have no clue who will end up winning, and that's a joy to witness. This little information tidbit giving us an understanding of what she hopes to soon achieve in the upcoming battle. That was really nicely placed too. God, that was awesome! Go on then, one more time this episode. Yami deserves it for how incredible he looks when he goes all out. You know what? Going off of win number 1825, that's probably the greatest way to end the battle. Let it be a draw between these powerhouses. That's excellent, actually.
この団長戦を全国民に届けることができて本当に良かったよ。国民たちも君たちのような魔法騎士がこの国を守っていると知って安心できた。
Understanding that the Wizard King actually had a great purpose in mind for the battle and that it was never about filling an episode with cool looking scenes, but instead it fits perfectly into the upcoming arc and also the prior arcs because it was about putting the minds of their subjects at rest, knowing they're in good hands and can finally move on from the horrors of recent memory and feeling under threat. Also though, hopefully Yami's future wife still being in the anime still gets it a win. A petite Clover, well worth a win because it probably occurred in the actual anime to some degree, and of course it was as always funny.
団長たちの戦いにさらに奮起したアスタとノエルも特訓を重ねハート王国で精霊の神との特訓が始まる日を待つのだった。
You know, I'm always impressed by how Black Clover handles recap episodes. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's always moments interjected where current events are shown, like right here, whereas some or most anime I can recall just have pure narrated recap from start to finish. Excellent use of CGI.
この町は白夜の騒乱からほとんど復興したようだね。
This now has so much more impact than it would have in 90% of other anime because the rebuilding efforts were touched on so many times throughout the past 25 or so episodes, and so now witnessing things being back to normal means oddly quite a lot to me. I mean, I'm over here feeling like Asta!
小僧がどうしても見てっつうから仕方なく連れてきてやっただけだ。
初心に帰ろうと思ったんです。
For the first time, it really smacked me upside the head to realise that an entire year has actually passed in the anime. That's crazy when you consider how some larger anime feel like they never really progress no matter how many episodes go by.
あれから1年か。
I cannot believe that it was a year ago and how much has changed since then. He really was a dick back then, but for good reason obviously, as we learn later. So much time has gone by. It's been a year, and by the time you watch this video, it'll have been a year roughly since I started my Black Clover series.
大切な仲間、家族ができました。かけがえのない時間を過ごすことができました。
成長したな、ノエル。
そして知っておいてほしい。たとえ不合格でもそれで終わりではなく、誰でもいつでも何度でもやり直すことができるのだということを。
Things have changed so much in the course of the last year as well, because when Asta took the exam, he really was made to feel useless. Nobility was lauded above all, as it always had been, and cruelty was seemingly around every corner if you were seen as lesser by those at the top. Yet now, by the efforts of the Wizard King and those directly under him, a new dawn seems to have come into play. A more kind one, basing merit upon the shoulders of those deserving of it, and not those born to it. It's brilliant to witness the slow evolution that the mangaka and animators never once forgot about. In fact, I'm so impressed by how slowly the fires of that part of the story were carefully stoked over time that they can take another 2 wins here. I can never tell you just how genuinely amazed I am by that aspect to this story. God, this magic always looks so awesome!
バカスタ、あの時全く飛べなかったわよね。
Another example of what I shouted at in the previous video, when Noelle's facial expressions have really been taken to another level of late.
傷つき、ボロボロになっても決して諦めずに。
Man, oh man, even when they're actually doing the whole recap thing, they still put it within the confines of the conversation because it makes sense that Noelle is rehashing things here, expressing her feelings about what she has seen from him from the first time they met till now.
黙って行こうとすんなよ。水臭いイケメンだな、この野郎。
スーン。
今スーンって言った。明らかに口で言ったよね。
Oh, that's perfect. That's so good.
何よ、勝つのは俺だ。
いや、俺だ。
俺だ。
I swear Asta is the only person that Yuno is actually entirely himself with. Everyone else gets the cold shoulder to some degree, but he becomes like a little competitive kid again whenever he's around Asta, and that's such a nice addition to their characters in the story as well.
レブチという男が持ってきたんだ。
あいつが？
ゲルドルと一緒に影の王宮から持ってきた宝物の中に紛れていたらしい。
I cannot believe that they just referenced a character from like episode 2 who reappeared around 120 episodes later, and then they also brought up his necklace again. I love this anime!
よっしゃ、今夜だけは戦いを忘れて飲んで食え。
So nice to do this for these two, especially coming from Yami, who normally works them hard or allows them to constantly push themselves to the limit. Just nice to see them being appreciated and given a moment to relax before what comes next.
さらなる高みへ。俺は。
Gotta love moments like this between these two, and I'm glad I got this since I was slightly depressed that they didn't do their famous reunion fist bump. They can have a final win here for this episode, the best recap episode I think I've ever seen, and how it was all put together so damn nicely.
境外界の特に被害が大きかった地域の復興も順調に進んでいるとのことです。これでやっと王国全土の復興に目処がつきました。
They absolutely refused to sweep anything under the rug! Just like I said so many times during part 10, they always reference the previous arcs, and I continue to love them more and more for it.
あれれ、 気になっちゃう感じ？なんだかんだで妹思いなんだから。
Ashamed to say, I never heard in her voice that she's actually Killua from Hunter x Hunter. In fairness to me though, she normally voices boys, and here she's got an incredibly feminine and cute voice, but still it's her, and that equals a win.
我が金色の夜明け団からはミモザ・バーミリオンを推薦します。万が一の時に要になってくるのは回復魔導士です。彼女も王族ゆえ潜在的な能力は大きく。
I love how they're not just randomly throwing out names to simply put characters together in the coming episodes, but instead, as William says here, there's real logic and reason behind his specific choice.
グレンの獅子王団からはレオポルド・バーミリオンを推薦します。レオポルドの努力や根性は断随一ですが迷いが見られます。
And then right here, there's also a character growth reason touched on a few times in prior episodes as to why he chose his little brother to go and train. Again, it's not just randomly done, it's been built upon each time we've spent a few moments with the character.
修行して強くなってあのお姉さんに認められる男になるんだ。
This could end up being interesting.
なんだあいつ。
うぜえな。
切り裂いてやろうか。
That squeal. That was good. This whole segment going over the deeds of the young knights and what their promotions are because it actually moves people up in the world rather than keeping them in the same position seemingly forever with very little actually changing.
辞退させていただきたい。あの時兄上が現れなければ団員は全滅していました。
This just further proves an excellent use of time when accompanying the reasons he gave earlier on for requesting that his brother be taken along for the training.
金色の夜明け団ユノ一等上級魔法騎士の称号を授与する。はい。
副団長のランギルスさんと同じ等級ですわ。
After my last comment about characters actually moving up in the world and not remaining stagnant, they go and put Yuno equal to the vice captain of his own team!
国王の権限で設計に一等上級魔法騎士の称号を与える。
Oh dear lord. Now he's a first-class senior knight himself. Well, you're effectively keeping him in the mix and I'm here for every step of it.
では改めまして以上5名の他にも先の騒乱において尽力した者たちを全て一等級昇級させることとします。
なるほど。それで全団長出席というわけか。
なんだ金じゃねえのか。ま、あんがとさん。
Even though Yami would have preferred cashola, it's still good to see the Wizard King rewarding him and everyone in the Black Bulls as best he can in spite of the lingering trial for their amazing contributions to pretty much everything. It's why I like him so much.
男マグナ、今度こそ置いてかれるわけにはいかねえ。行くなと言われても絶対に行きます。
Really unexpected and heartfelt moment from Magna right here and a decent twist to the story that I didn't see coming.
そろそろどうかな。
そろそろとは
副団長の任務へ復帰してくれないか。団員たちを見てやってほしい。
もう少しお時間いただけますか。
Always such a big fan of moving forward character development of side characters like this, because it has been done right. Since you haven't got the time like you do with main characters, and his has been handled really well since the end of the Elf arc till now.
手合わせを願いたい。
Unexpected plot twist! They could have made their lives easier here, but decided to put in more detail like the legends they be.
どうだろう。負けた者が金色の夜明け団を去るというのは。
Yet another plot twister da!
ならば始めよう。手合わせを。
Yuno was so cool, I swear. The only one better is Yami, but Yuno sure does have his moments.
僕としたことが。なんだその顔は。
何を考えてるのか知りませんが本気で来てもらえませんか。
If I had to take a wild guess right here, I'd say he wants to lose in order to leave under the illusion that he lost a fair fight, but it's really due to his lack of confidence after the last arc, and if so, that's fantastic character building over time.
精霊増加スピリットダイブスピリットストーム
There is said coolness mentioned in win number 1868? Compared to the earlier episodes, this is so much smoother and more fluid than ever before. It's astonishing to see the difference. Gorgeousness! Okay, that predictably earns the anime yet another maximum 2 wins award. It was, as previously stated, simply gorgeous and again, so smooth.
途中からじゃないですか。あなたが本気を出したのは最初はわざと負ける気でいたでしょう。
Called it!
失礼します。
待っているよ、ランギルス。
Take a win here for me really not thinking it'd actually go through with leaving. I'd have put down quite some money that he would predictably stay, and yet he did kind of leave. Didn't see that coming. I think one last win for this episode is in order, for pushing forward multiple character stories, mainly Magna and of course Finral's bro Tato, and just for nicely bringing us to the next arc. Just can't believe how close to the end we are.
初めてお目にかかる方も何人かいらっしゃいますね。ようこそハート王国へ。本来であれば皆様を歓迎する。
Well, that's a little weird. I don't think she was invited, but whatever.
まずスペード王国はすでにダイヤモンド王国の主要な拠点を制圧し、侵略行為は現在一段落しています。つまり我が国とクローバー王国はいつ狙われてもおかしくない状態です。
Dude, I love that attention to detail, albeit small, that we learn of the state of the invasion and the areas that they're targeting, that being bases in the country next door. It really reminds me of Fire Emblem 3 Houses, which I'm playing right now, but by the time you watch this, we'll have long completed. They put a lot of effort in that game to detailing the areas you're attacking. No spoilers, obviously, but yeah, I dig that. And also, my god, what a great game. No sponsorship, just saying. Although if you're somehow watching Nintendo executives, hit your boy up! Also, by the time I record this, I actually finished it last night, and it was great!
なんだこりゃ。魔言で術式を作ることで簡単な命令を魔法に付与することができます。
Finally, another element to the established magic in Black Clover that expands what's possible. I've been saying it for months now, but that's just an awesome addition whenever it occurs.
どうすればいい？ガガーッと広い範囲からドバババーって集めるの。そしたらもうガツンといけるから。
Mine sounds silly to add a win here for something that happened in another anime, but sometimes I like the connection. And this just made me think of the explanation as to how Hinata hits the ball quickly in Haikyuu.
ではもし君が狙われたら仲間に助けてもらうのかい？それはサポートと言えるのかな？
Oh heck yes, if this is going the way I think it is, I'm gonna be loving getting to see Finral finally develop more attacks, since his current one is pretty slow and poor to be fair. He's amazing at support, but his attack is incredibly limited, and I'm so happy that that's being addressed. These 3 minutes going over the first stages of training and improving, and not simply saying you've got to get stronger like the old days in Dragon Ball Z, but instead it's about how they're getting stronger, what their weaknesses are, and how they've been proven over the series length and so on, and that's much more impressive.
ですがメギキュラがついている魔導士バニカは私とウンディーネ、そしてノエルさんとネロさんの力を合わせなければ倒せる可能性すら見出せません。
At long last, getting our first taste of the coming devils, their names and how they fight and what their strength levels are.
いやもう初日からめちゃめちゃ絞られてますよ。俺だけじゃなくてみんな揃って。
Not just focusing on those who went to the other kingdom to train, but also on those back at home training themselves like Yami.
雷魔法天地より。
This to me feels like the perfect way to train Asta by poking at his weaknesses to this new kind of magic, since he's great at nullifying everything, but when someone is able to create spells that attack from behind, above, and even underneath him, of course he's going to seriously struggle with that.
よ、アネゴレオン。
誰がアネゴレオンだ？バカ者。
Still really glad that she's in this anime. Who would have ever thought that we'd be gifted with not one round of Captain vs. Captain action, but now two? Also though, it's official, Yami is my favourite to watch fighting. Very closely followed by Asta.
なんだそのざまは。
土俵にも立てねえな。
考えろ。ただ届かせるだけじゃなく。
Brilliant to essentially show the struggles of both Asta and Yami side by side in their vigorous training bouts. Definitely makes me think that they're going to be fighting side by side during the last 10 episodes against the Devils.
そういえばあの時、ノエルから借りた魔力を放つことができた。
Bruh, I cannot believe that that's being brought up again after all of this time. I mentioned that at the time, and you guys and gals rightly said in the comments that it was mentioned then in that scene and never again, until now. But obviously when I made that video, the anime was only on like episode 100 or 110 or something, so obviously it just hadn't made its appearance again till now.
ここで血を受ける。
他人の貴様は溶岩に叩き込んでやろう。
このタイミングで追撃か。
This is excellent because Yami needs this kind of training, where his life is almost at risk in order to seriously improve his abilities, and she's the ideal partner for that. I mean, she's literally attacking him as he made a judgment error and fell towards the lava.
これでようやく同じ土俵だな。
土俵？わけのわからんことを。
立ち位置が同じになったってことだ。
Between that intense and always awesome battle music and him learning this new ability, I'm hyped!
バラド闇魔法黒穴。
I didn't even know what that is, but it's sick!
これは
私の魔力を打ち消しているのか。
闇魔法闇魔と読み上げる。
Did he just do Asta's thing?
ここだ。
Did he just do Yami's thing?
一撃当てた。
Asta being Asta after so much trouble trying to hit him for days on end, taking endless punishment, and yet deep down he's still so positive all the time. Super endearing. Well, I am blown away! Super impressed that they actually showed the front lines to a degree, and what the invading forces are doing, including rebels among them. That's fantastic and really unexpected by me.
十数年前の名簿にどうでもいい。ハムシがあがいたところで我々の計画には何の支障もないのだが。
I'm so hyped for this! So I actually thought that the last recap episode was 152, but I guess it wasn't, and now it makes much more sense as to why so much of that episode was actual content and not recap. Having said that, I'm really pleased that the end of this episode also has loads of new content as well, which I'll now win, but for now, take a win for continuing to surprise me with these entertaining recaps, but maybe now the last one ever. Okay, so no joke, Noelle always looks outstanding in that armour, just saying, but also again, super smooth animation, and I didn't think we'd be graced with that at the end of a recap episode.
すごいですノエルさん。当たり前でしょ。私は王族よ。やった褒められたわ。
かわいい。
5枚目には悪魔が住む。
I do not even know what that was, but I'm shocked! Deeply shocked! That looked so awesome! This example of a strong magic region and the extreme toll it takes on anyone trying to pass through it.
We're gonna awakening for the brand new world.
Yeah.
We're gonna take you to the brand new world.
Goodness me, what an OP that was! And crazy to think that it's now the final one I'll be witnessing, which is very sad for me. Great song as always, they never fail on that account as far as I'm concerned, but oh damn, the animation was crisp and beautiful, and some nice little additions in there of art style changes and such too. On top of that, it did its job perfectly of showing me multiple demons and super hyping me up for the coming battles. I absolutely cannot wait now for that to start.
ゴーマ地帯縦断のために作られたこの巨大移動要塞カンデロ。
They created a walking fortress that absorbs people's mana in order to cross the strong magic barrier. You freaking kidding me?
自国の海域の民を物のように扱う非道な方法で要塞を動かすエネルギーを得ているのです。ちょっといえ、このまま先陣を切ってもらいましょう。
That happened so quick and I didn't even know it was Asta, and now he's flying off super quick to fight them, and she's on about him breaking through the front lines and the battle is happening and I'm not even mentally prepared!
我々の相手をすることでまさか魔力の全くない彼があそこまで強くなってしまうとは。
Also though, you can't hide it, Asta has turned into a right thick boy, hasn't he? Okay, so 2 wins here. Firstly, I won't verbalise it, but basically the enemy soldier was up to no good with one of the women. Enough said there for YouTube, and I'm always praising when Black Clover delves a little into the darker stuff, going beyond PG-13 for a minute, you know what I mean? But also, heck yes! Asta's arrived and everything, and he threw his sword, and what's gonna happen? I can't take it!
Damma!
Thick Asta has arrived and he's got Jedi tricks. This is nuts. I'm hyped. Let's go! Oh dear God. It's taken 158 episodes, but it's finally happened. Asta has become insane. This is going to be nothing short of a joy for me to witness from here on out. I can't even believe it. It's way better than I ever thought it would be. Shut up and take my grateful wins.
お前が侵入者か。ただで攻めた。
スケバブラックスラッシャー。なんだ。
I got told about the sudden increase in animation, but never did I dare think it would multiply so many times over in impressiveness. Asta is still shocking me with his new abilities and his new look. For this, they can take 2 wins. I'm genuinely so shocked right now, you'll have to excuse me. Also, take another win here for the changed appearances of the others too. I thought a few things had changed, but I wasn't sure, so take that win here too. Man, this is legit. Like when you do all of the side quests and then decide to take on the main story. That! なんだと毒を消しただと Also, Asta was thankfully able to turn this around quickly. It's intriguing witnessing the power of someone who has a devil in them, but of a much lower level than the big dog they're after. It's clear that had Asta not done everything that he has, that he would have struggled here.
国民を犠牲にして何が国の繁栄だ。そんなに戦いてんなら。
Several times throughout this Everything Great About series I've praised cool looking stances, and this right here was one such one worthy of said praise.
まためちゃくちゃやったわね。あのバカスター。なんだ？植物回復魔法。姫湯の花楽園。
Coming up with interesting ways in which people's magic has improved, such as Noelle flying with her armor whilst carrying others in water, that's just plain old clever thinking, and now this vastly wider healing area of effect spell and how much faster it worked.
侵入者か。返せ。もらった。
どいつもこいつもこんな程度なの。
How are you improving the animation so much? You've got devils inside of you!
ならばどれだけ言おうと我々の敵ではない。炎魔法深淵螺旋ホムラー。
Profound spiral flames!
どうするも何もお前たちの町だろ。どうもしないさ。フィンラル先輩が空間魔法でみんなを連れてってくれるから待っててくれ。
本当か。
Ah, Asta Asta is so pure it hurts to look directly at him. The light emitting is too bright.
特にダークトライアドの3人は悪魔のように恐ろしいと聞きます。
ダークトライアド。
なぜ半年待ったのですか？
Banned from 7 deadly sins.
全ては来たるべき時のための準備だよ。ゲームがすぐ終わってしまっては面白くないだろう。
Gon's dad from Hunter x Hunter and a bunch of other great characters like the Deep Sea King from One Punch Man and stuff. Stylistically speaking, this scene is great, but it also opens up loads of storyline avenues for the new story arc. Such a good song, and honestly, I was happy to give a win even if it was just baby Asta and Yuno throughout the whole thing, but then they go and give us unexpected animation greatness towards the end, and the ED as a whole then goes on to be ranked super high in my overall favourites. This ending wasn't going to get its own standalone win until that very end comment about how even he would notice the vines propping him up. That really had me laughing, so yeah, take that win.
クローバーの5枚目の葉には悪魔がする。生まれながらに魔力のないアスタが。
New intro alert! This is not a drill! We got ourselves a new intro featuring the new devils and equally new thick boy Asta! Let's go!
皆さんのおかげでスペード王国の拠点の一つトロンの町を占拠できました。
They've essentially got a foothold in another country now. This is like Fire Emblem, just saying.
町の防衛の方は大丈夫なのですか？それは私たちに任せてください。
ノエルに頼んで私の分身をトロンの町まで連れて行ってもらったの。その分身を通してトロンの町にハート王国と同じ結界を張っているわ。
And then you go right on ahead and give us a logical explanation as to how they're keeping their new town and foothold safe in spite of it being so very far away. Get out of here, you thoughtful sassy boys and gals!
また別の森では幻のリンゴをかけてクマと戦ったり。
Charmy continuing to be Charmy without a second thought.
アンチ魔力をコントロールして。
Gonna take me a hot minute to get used to Asta flying in this way. Just makes me think of Goku. Very much awesome, and Finral sums it up pretty nicely with his follow-up comment too.
ああ、外すの忘れてました。
もうロロペチかったら。
Bath scene.
クローバー王国の皆さんがいい人たちばかりでよかったです。初めは怖い人たちだったらどうしようかと思っていました。
This very sweet scene going over their feelings about one another since meeting and how they're glad the other is equally kind in general. It's also fun how they bring up their first encounter and get an apology for how testing them was handled by attacking them pretty much right off the bat.
もうこれ以上食べたらダメっす、チャーミーパイセン。
私を止めようってのかい、アスタく。
This.
チャーミーの羊だ。チャーミーが暴走したぞ。
It's hilarious that Charmy has just gone off into the forest, eaten all of these months, and in the process become insanely strong and like a person of legend around those parts.
副団長、よろしいでしょうか。
今から任務だ。休養か。
Yuno is now the vice captain. This is a massive step up. Credit to the mangaka for not just endlessly keeping him and Asta in the same position forever. The story continues to evolve and grow.
それなら絶対に避けられないところから切るだけだ。お邪魔します。
Weirdest win of the video is definitely going to be for the fact that they kept this scene jovial and light-hearted. Otherwise it could have come off as oddly serious, with Charmy being a legit bad person stealing food and stuff. But it's good training too for Asta, so that's okay in my book.
絵画魔法、熱をはらんだ氷のアンバゼオン。
Rill and his magic continue to impress me to the highest degree. Cannot wait to see what that lad will achieve during the arc. Even though I silently predicted this outcome since he fell down saying Lord Yuno, it's an incredible plot twist to the story carrying heavy ramifications down the road that I look forward to being explored. It also does go a long way to explaining why he has so much magic, as I'm guessing it's the same case for those abroad as at home.
敵は多いよ。ユノは今王国各地にめちゃくちゃな数のファンクラブがあんだから。いやほんとすごいよ。入団して1年半で副団長就任。魔法帝も夢じゃないね。
Showing us the distinct difference in general attitude towards Yuno. Whereas before it was always negative even from those in his own clan, now it's at the very least neutral, but more often than not positive and full of admiration for his deeds, which is great to witness over the course of the story.
ユノさん、 炎魔法奇跡のかげろう
I like this. He's not just straight up trusting right away, but instead this facial expression tells us that he's at least cautiously observing what he's about to do.
国王少し落ち着かれては
お生まれになりました元気な男の子ですよ
Not gonna lie, it's really touching seeing all of this. Yuno and his original home and family in a distant country.
生まれたお生まれになった後継ぎがお生まれになったぞ
ユノ様の誕生は長く厳しい冬に閉ざされた我が国にもたらされたまさしく希望だったのです
I'm dropping a win here for actually being shown more of another country outside the main two, as up to this point it's been barely anything. It's almost like they existed in a vacuum with only a few still shots to guide us on what these places looked like, so this is, and scenes from the past few episodes, been most welcome for me.
この度の討伐任務ご苦労だった。十分な休息をとってほしい。そして今後もこの国の平和のために
Having our first proper look at the new main villains and how they started off and actually giving them a good backstory, as I feared it would simply be the case that they randomly appeared, overthrew the monarchy, and started running the joint. Take a win for how they built this scene, that's 50% of it, but the other 50% is I'm noticing between this scene and the other that comes to mind, that being the bathing scene from a few episodes ago that I winned, that there's some new and really unique sounding songs that are really pricking my ears.
お前も絶対に死ぬな
約束します父と会ったのはこれが最後になりました
ならば手はず通りに
They could have cut so many corners. He grabbed Yuno and escaped. That's it. Instead, we get to see how he thought ahead and grabbed him. His son defending his escape by setting fire to the corridor so they couldn't get to them straight away, and then how they enacted a military plan to covertly escape using 2 decoys. Dedication!
私からユノ様への最後の魔法ですどうか強くダルフ、未来を頼んだぞ
This legend can take a standalone win for doing absolutely everything to protect Yuno right up until the last minutes of his life, including taking these 2 attackers down with him so there was no chance they could ever survive to still go after Yuno. I salute you, man.
どうした
大変です副団長金色の夜明けの本拠地に密集です
何
Emergency plot twist! Get down and fix your bayonets!
好きに暴れちゃっていいんですかゼノン様
Seriously, who would have thought they'd take the fight right into their territory? I mean, I know they spoke about their plans recently, but I never thought they'd cross the border to attack like this. It's crazy!
俺は金色の夜明けの副団長だ
私も
まだ安静にしてないと
ユノ
You, sir, get your own win as well. Just like his father, he's desperately trying to keep Yuno safe, and even tries to go with him in spite of being in such bad shape. Father and son dedication!
俺たちダークディサイクルは全員ゼロ息なんだからよ
ゼロ息だと
Setting up a group under the Triad and their power levels to give us the viewer a good idea of where they rank overall and who needs to be taken out first. Hype! Not giving yourself away before you attack.
お前が名域の魔導士金色の夜明け団団長ウィリアム・バンジャースだ
Oh my god, I cannot wait for this!
スペード王国の利益のためお前をいただくぞ
Such a creepy damn magic!
遅れて出てきたハエが何見下ろしてんだ
Gonna avoid showing too much of it just in case, but man, it hits hard seeing so many Golden Dawn members just decimated. It's really brought this new arc smashing its way into the main story by having an event like this take place.
お前俺の仲間に何してる。
Go on then, take 2 wins for that. Epic transformation and with stunning animation on it, cracking good voice acting from a furious Yuno, and the character growth from him as displayed by his fury, plus leaving the end of the episode on a brilliant cliffhanger. This end deserves its own win as well, firstly because it's a nice little much needed bit of comedy at the end of a pretty brutal episode, and secondly due to the comment about Yuno being on social media, that killed me. As always, I'm gifting a final win here for 10 cracking good episodes. I mean, even the recaps were done super well. There was such a noticeable uptick in animation quality as told to me by so many people, and the story really was set up well with the training episodes, and then we got launched face first into the action, and it's been amazing to witness. Please, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and leave a comment. These videos do take so long to write, narrate and edit, so I'd really super appreciate it. And do ensure you subscribe so you don't miss out on the finale coming in a few weeks' time. Thanks so much for watching. Patreon is down below too if you want to vote in what I cover. And of course, I'll see you in the next video. Nathan Byrne, Bird Without a Word, Tyler Warner, PK Fan, Ali 50, Ryan Anderson, Isael Caldera, Mr. Waffle 64, Kieran Robinson, Chris Harris, Yona Schal, Manolo Saucedo Munoz, Kim Munt, Jason Davies, The Elemental Wars, Manuel Morales, Carnito, Dark Lord Bloody Soul, Blitzcloud, Sebastian Ramirez, Aura Keeper, Jaffa 6263, Magnus, Kevin Nauta, Aniki Kerr, Brendan Krier, Kaj Vorzelman, Jordan Samuels, Sean Graves, The Epic Commander, Crimson Shadows, Kyle Farmer, Adora Blue, Matthew Ditzworth, Sentimento, Gaten 2000, Mackie Sam, Storm 970, Hinakami Underwater.